Okay, so if I seem exhausted, it's because I am. I've spent all day going Christmas shopping, mostly though preparing Christmas presents, and I haven't even gone to work yet. So I'm not going to sound right during this video. No critiquing the critics episode this week, which really pains me because I wanted to get this angry video game nerd re-review over with, but work made me work every day, just like Thanksgiving week. And but I've spent more time just getting Christmas ready, cleaning everything up, etc., etc., etc. So sorry. It's funny, when you're a kid, you can't wait till Christmas, but when you're an adult, you can't wait for it to get over with. So that's that there. I'm wearing my coat because I'm going to cameo for Morgul's. I hope I haven't said that already. I'm exhausted. So I hope I didn't tease you there at all. But I figure I'd go ahead and complete this video by talking about some of the movies I saw in the last few weeks. The first was Sherlock Holmes 2, A Game of Shadows. I thought it was great. I really liked the first film. It had a great acting by its two leads who were very charismatic, and their banter was really well written and funny. Loads of action, and the action was really stylish and energetic. That's how I describe the movie in general. It's energetic. It's not great, but it's great fun. Now, I could understand if people didn't like the fact that it was just all action. A lot of Sherlock Holmes purists aren't going to like that type of thing. And I actually read the short stories in some of the books. Maybe I only read Hounds of the Baskervilles or whatever. So I am a fan of the source material, but I still enjoyed this movie a lot, or the first one a lot. But it had some problems. I didn't like the CGI sets. It looked too, CGI. I thought the villain was kind of lame, even though I really like Mark Strong, and I thought Mark Strong did a great job as the villain. The villain himself, you never felt was an actual threat to Sherlock Holmes. It's sort of like, when you watch the Dirty Harry movies, the sequels especially, you never feel that any of the villains are going to have a chance against Dirty Harry. They never seem all that interesting or frightening, and Dirty Harry is just awesome. But this film fixes all those problems. For one, the CGI looking sets aren't really CGI looking. I'm sure they were CGI, but they were never distracting, or if they were CGI, they never drew attention to it. The villain was much better. Moriarty, who's only in one short story in the source material, he just left an impression there, and he leaves an impression here. He's a great villain because he's just really smart. He's a genius all around, but he's evil. I mean, he's one of those guys who's almost evil because he's such a genius, and he just figures he can go ahead and get away with it. And I thought he was great because you feel that, this guy could possibly take on Holmes and beat him at his own game. And it's just really fun to watch these two guys play cat and mouse. It's sort of like, ironically, considering this comparison, the first Dirty Harry film. The first Dirty Harry film, had its larger-than-life hero, but it also had a villain who was really just as good because he was really intense and frightening, but also really intelligent. So this is sort of the opposite. The first film didn't have a good villain, but the second film did. So I was really happy with that one. It was one of my favorite movies of the year, and if you want to read my written review, I have the link in my description. After that, I saw Mission Impossible 4. Now, I don't remember the first two Mission Impossible movies very much, but I do remember the third one pretty well. And the third film I thought was just pretty good, not great, but it was interesting and had some standout moments, and it was really well made. But this one I thought was definitely a step up from that, because for one, there's nothing to bring it down. There's no real love story. It's always focused on the plot. And the characters are really interesting and entertaining. Everybody brings something of their own to the play. And I was surprised how much that Simon Pegg, he made me laugh a lot in this movie. And usually I don't think he's that funny in these types of movies. I love him in like Shaun of the Dead, which are comedies, but I don't think that he's all that funny in action films. But this, I thought, was his best job in terms of that. But the plot was really interesting and compelling, and the action was really well done. It was pretty creative, but what I think I loved the most was just how beat up Tom Cruise gets. Like, there's that big scene on the side of the building. What I love is when he tries to fly through the window, he smacks his face against the top of the window where he couldn't get through. And I thought that it just looked painful, even though I always felt that, you know, Tom Cruise really needed to get his face blemished at some point, because he gets beat up a lot, but it's like nothing really sticks with him. He always looks fine. But it was just a real exciting, suspenseful, action-packed, you know, greatly entertaining movie, and that's what I look for with these types of films. Is I don't expect classics, but I expect to be very entertained. And both of these movies were really among my favorites of this year, probably because I didn't expect as much. Whereas a lot of the movies that I had really high expectations, it just didn't quite fit them. Like Cowboys and Aliens and Captain America. I liked both movies, but I think I expected my expectations. I just will say were too unreasonable. So that's it. Hopefully I'll be back next week. It depends how busy New Year's Eve is, or New Year's week in general. So hopefully you'll see this Angry Video Game Nerd re-review finished by then. That is it. I'll see you guys later.